Ladies and gentlemen, today is April 24th, 2013, and this is the KNKL Emma Stream, Day 44, where we learn to make comics together and we jump into the land of Emma-san! I am your host, Keenan Lafferty, and today we're just going to be jumping right back into, I believe, page 13, part 2 of issue 2 of Emma. But before we get into that, I need to take a moment, and we're going to be going to the lovely lane where yesterday you guys may have noticed I posted this preview of part 2, right? And you may have noticed that there was some interesting dialogue happening between Emma and Nico, and this is actually just like a funny idea that my brother and I had that night, because for those of you who've been watching the Emma stream as of late, you would know that in the general, like the early chicken scratches, Nico is the one here, he's saying "neen," and that's just kind of become like a joke. Nico saying "neen" with a toothbrush in his mouth. So we decided to kind of flip it, and like, what if Emma was saying "neen," and then Nico like spouted out this like elegant, request to remove the toothbrush from his mouth. And yeah, that was a ton of fun. So I hope that you guys like that, and note that that is not the final. That's not the final dialogue that's going to be going into the comic. Now, before we move into page 13, I do have to take a moment and say thank you to everyone who has been tuning in. Viewers like you and special donators of the month help to make this show possible. So I love everybody who is on this list. If you'd like to get your name on this list, simply visit the Emma Comic Online website or click the comment section down below. For those of you watching on YouTube, right down there you can get your name featured throughout the month. And you can pay as little or as much as you want. You can donate a quarter if you want, and I'll put it on there. And you'll get a cool little supporter picture that changes every month. Alright guys, with all that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and jump right into this. Jump right into this. It looks like there's a couple things here that we need to fix up. A couple of things here we are going to need to fix. So let's go ahead and get into that, yeah? Shall we? Shall we? Alright. So today we're going to be masking. Woo! Yay! I love masking. Masking is so much fun because that is when we set up the entire page. Set up the entire page so that we can go in and lay down the colors with much precision and ease. And it makes us happy because it saves time. Saving time is always awesome. Awesome! Alright, why is lines on layout? That scares me a little bit. Should be labeled lines. Let's go ahead and save that. Where is the layout? Is it still back here? Okay, good. Yeah, so one thing that I've been liking about a lot of the pages in this part is, what's interesting is that there's not a lot of like heavily detailed backgrounds as there was in part 1, where you have like the outside shot of the house, and you get like, you really got to show a lot of what's happening. There's a lot of establishing shots in that. So what that frees us up to do in this is we're going to be focusing a lot more heavily on... Perfect! We're going to be focusing a lot more heavily on interactions between characters, because we have some new characters that are going to be introducing themselves in this part, and things are going to start getting real. So, yeah, I'm super, super excited to have this released. And, uh-oh. Let's try that again on the actual proper layer. There we go. So yeah, this part is where you're going to start realizing that things are going to start getting real. And yeah, I'm just super, super excited to start doing this. So anyway, let's just continue with what we have here. Just kind of cleaning these masks up a little bit, getting ready to start laying in some color. And you might actually see me get through all of the masks and actually lay down the general colors for this, which would be really nice. I can show you kind of quickly how I do, what my technique is, once all the lines are done and all the masks get put in. But first, there are a couple more things that I must do. A couple more things we must do here. Okay, so we have Emma, all of Emma's stuff. Let's go ahead and group that up. Tank's stuff. There you go. I'll just quickly label these for easy, so it is easy to pull up later. Emma bandage, that needs to go in there. And we got biker lines. Let's go ahead and make sure we got that. And let's go ahead and finish up these masks because we have zombies. We have zombie hands. Zombie skin. Let's go ahead and take care of that. Now what's awesome about my latest take on masking things is I've set up some actions which allow me to basically use my magical wizard wand and wand what I want, and then I just expand the selection and then fill it. And it saves a lot of time, a lot of headaches, and it was actually a suggestion from one of the viewers of the stream. So if you're out there watching this right now, whoever suggested me to do this, suggested that I do this, I love you. Just know that I do in fact love you, and Emma will be able to be created much quicker and much easier thanks to you. And for that, I'm grateful. I love people! And that makes me wish to sing my song about loving people. But I will save that for another time. Not quite in the mood to sing that quite yet. Alright, so we got that done. Let's go ahead and take care of this blood. Right, because we gotta have some good zombie gore flying around everywhere. Zombie gore. Gotta love it. Love it. I actually really do like how the zombie gets the top of his head cut off. He literally gets the top of his head chopped off, and then what's remaining there gets stomped on by Tank's boot. That's just good old-fashioned fun. Alright, let's put in blood here, expand, and fill. Very easy. And let's go ahead and fill in all these little pieces over here. And, oh, I just realized, Actually, I think we're fine. I think we're just fine. Let's just continue with this. Doing some slightly different things with the masking as of late. Slightly different things. I'm going to see how it works out for me. But, yeah. We'll see what happens. Actually, I don't like this. I'm going to go ahead and just do this. Can you create a clipping mask with a group? No, you can't. No, you cannot. Alright, so let's go ahead and fill this in here. I now have my little brother Deebs actually helping me out with the masks. So this should help speed up the process of creating the comic. And all that good stuff. Because I'm not very satisfied with how long this part took to get out. It's going to be awesome. Make no mistake, but I think, and it wasn't just the fact that this was a more complicated issue in terms of illustrating characters, but also like the posters came out, right? Had to go and get all those printed out. So many of you awesome people ordered them, so I had to basically get together the packaging to send them out flat, figure out my shipping costs, do some work on the site, and basically get that all working out properly, get all the pages set up, make sure the PayPal experience went smoothly, and everything worked out. So there's a lot of interesting things that happened between this release and the last release. But this release is coming. It's coming with alarming speed, and it will be here before you know it. Trust me, I want to see it just as bad as you guys, and I cannot wait. You guys are going to be blown away. You guys are going to be blown away. Yes. Alright, so let's continue here. Fisticuffs. Zombie fisticuffs. Make those white or bright pink, that's fine, because we're going to change it later. Doesn't matter. Let's see. We are going to have the zombies' clothes be a different color too, so let's go ahead and select those. It's good. Expand. Eyedrop. Zot. And fill it. Excellent. Looks like there's a little bit of remainders in there. Let's go and take care of that. There we go. Lately I've been getting a little bit more texture into my lines. I've been having some more fun with it. Introducing a little bit more character into my lines, and I've been liking it. I feel like it's been working with great success. Great success. Oh crap, I did that on cuff! Dang it! Okay. Well, rather than redoing that whole suit, I'll just redo the cuff. Redo the cuff. Suit. Oh. Cuff. Cuff it. Alrighty. Cool. Tie. Moving on to the tie. Let's put it behind the blood. Save some time. Put it behind everything. There you go, that was easy. Alright, so that's looking good. Let's move on to Tank's stuff. Tank, where's your stuff? Bandana. There we go. Let's continue with this. Continue with this. Actually, this is all supposed to be. This all should be tan, actually. And I think that's good. Fill that. Lovely. Anything else? Oh, don't want to forget this. There we go. And let's take care of it up here as well. All of the beige parts must be colored. There we go, there we go. Beige there, 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 there. See how nice it is just having clean lines? It's so much easier to go through and color everything once you have this. Instead of manually masking. Manually masking is a thing of the past. Nobody does that anymore. Okay. I forget what color is this down here. I think that's also beige. If not, I'll go back and fix it later. Okay, it's looking good. Boom! That wasn't so hard, was it? Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and grab this color. I'm going to make the main mask. Oh. I'm going to make the main mask like this dark blue, because that's kind of their leather color. So that'll just help me to remember the contrast between these two a little more easier. It's good. Let's go ahead and grab the color of Tank's boot. So what color is his boot? Should it be brown? I think I made it kind of like a desaturated brown. Not worrying too much about colors right now because we're just doing masks. Tank boot. The boot. You get the boot. Okay, that should also be that same color. Oy. Not enough contrast. Let's go ahead and bump that up. There we go. Now I can tell what I'm doing. Okay. It's good. Now, what I'm going to do actually is... no, screw that. It's going to take too long. I was going to ungroup and clipping mask all of them back up, but whatever. It's all good. If I really need to do that, I'll do it later. Okay. That's good. Oh, did I expand that? No, I did not. Oh. There we go. Looking good. Looking good. Alright. So what's up next? We've got the boot, we've got these guys. Oh, the goggles. The goggles must be colored, and I'll put them on the same layer as Tank's goggles. So this guy's got goggles. That guy's got goggles. Who else has goggles around here? Nobody. Alright. They got goggles. I might keep these guys, these back bikers. Trying to debate whether I want to color their masks. Why not? Why not? Let's do biker bandana. And I'll put them on a separate layer, just in case I decide against it later. Actually, yeah, it's just those two guys. So let's go ahead and expand and fill. Slightly darker color than that. There we go. Lovely! And I need to fix this little bit with Tank's skin. Deebs, you missed it. You missed it. Everybody knows Tank has skin there. Jeez. It's okay. And this guy's skin. Can't forget that guy's skin. That guy's skin. Silkskin. Stiltskin. I like it. Alrighty, I'll just put that in there right now. Quick little mask there. That guy has skin showing. No, he does not. Okay, how are we doing? I do want the back guys to... I want the back guys to have a different color of their coats, or just a separate mask. Yeah, I want these guys to have a separate mask. So that way... In fact, I'm going to put them back here. Oh, what have I done? Okay, there we go. I want these guys to have a slightly different mask. That way I can differentiate them from Tank. So I can give Tank a good clear silhouette, and these guys can be knocked back if need be. Actually, I should probably give it. Yeah, I should do this, this, that, that, and that. Looks a little fruity, but not to worry. There we go. And then I'll do one more. That way we can have some more depth happening through here. There we go. There we go. That gives us a good sense of depth. Like it. Like it. Now, it looks like the only thing we need is the little attention symbols. Let's go ahead and paint those a nice bright pink. Attention. And that's looking pretty dang good. Alright, let's go ahead and move into the frame masks, and then I do believe we can start moving into some colors. Some lovely colors. Double checking really quick. Oh, Tank has hair. Tank has slight little bits of hair that stick through, so let's make sure we get those as well. Yeah, this includes his eyebrows, as well as Tank hair? Wait, where's this? Tank hair. I don't see this. Alright, that one's going away. In fact, I'll make this brighter so we can just see it. It's got little bits of hair that shine through here. Looks a little bit like a creepy bozo, but that's okay. We can start as a creepy bozo. Just don't end as a creepy bozo. That's not good. Okay. Good. A little bit of hair there, and that's it. Alright, frame masks, and then mad dash to the finish. Alright guys, so pay attention, because this is how I lay out my frames. It's how I lay out my frames so they work the way I want them to. Check it out. Frame mask 01. So we'll start with, because we have a lot of layering of frames going on here, we're going to have to do a couple different frame masks. So first we're going to start with this one, the very, very back one. Just have that cover up that entire area there. And I like to pick a color that's not exactly white, just a little bit, just a little bit down. Man, I'm so relaxed today. Feels great. It feels good. Alright, so we got number 1 there, right? Now we're going to move on to layer 2, which is going to be this one. Frame mask 2. Now things get a little tricky. Because we have to select the diagonal frame here. In fact, I use my mouse when I'm doing these. Gives me a little bit more precision. The only time I prefer a mouse over a tablet. Let's go ahead and do that. And that. That becomes frame mask 2. And I'll paint a little bit darker gray. Good. Okay, frame mask 3. And I'll put all 3 of these on the same mask, since these are like our foreground frames. Make it just a tad bit darker, so we can separate them out as we need. And let's go ahead and select these guys over here. Good. Wondrous! Wondrous! Okay. We can kind of kick these back up now. Alrighty, peoples. Now let's go ahead and take these away really quick because I want to check the backgrounds. Is there anything really set in stone on the backgrounds? Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. So it looks like most of these backgrounds are going to be very, very simple. I'm just going to be pulling kind of the same kind of colors that I had in past, like for the interior. Probably pull something like this. Probably just use the gradients, kind of match it to that, what's happening here. And yeah, all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and get that back out of the way. Let us begin the color. The color! Oh, but first, we actually have to lay in the values. Values are first. So let's go ahead and lock these really quickly. And let's lay in some values. And I like to lay in values with my chalk brush. Chalk brush makes everything nice. Okay, So let's go ahead and start laying these bad boys in. Now let's think about it. She's kind of looking up at them. So I'm thinking that the ceiling will actually be in this area, right? So the ceiling will kind of be kind of breaking across this point. So we'll have like a straight line here that kind of represents the ceiling of the house. Just subtle little gradients, subtle little things that give us an idea of where the characters are. In fact, I don't know if I want the ceiling that high. It looks a little out of place. Let's try placing it a little bit further down. So it kind of crosses right through Tank's eye line. I like that. That calls some good attention. Yeah, that's better. Better. Thank you. Thank you. Let's put a little bit of texture there. And we're good. Next. This will be also very, very similar. Let's have in fact, this will be pretty much like an action frame. So all we got to do is basically do this stuff. In fact, I'm going to use a soft brush just so it's easier to lay these in. Lags a little less. So that's good. We'll have like one of these. Maybe some starbursts coming out. When in doubt, starburst it. Bam! Now you got some good motion going on there. Good action. What action? Yeah, that looks good. Stomping some good old zombie head. Yeah, it's good. I like it. Put some slight darkness over here. Let's kind of pull our attention to Tank. Pull our attention to him. There we go. Alright, final frames. Let's go to frame mask 3. Let's go ahead and do this. Okay, so we know from the previous part, let's see. So if Emma was here, right, I do this a lot, making sure that we are staying consistent with our layouts. The only thing about the light is spilling in through here from the sky. And let's see, so there's actually going to be some darkness down in this area. Maybe a little bit of light, like a pillar of light kind of going by her legs. But I don't even know if we're going to see that. Yeah, it's like it's already kind of out of there. So what this is going to look like is just a simple gradient, probably her shadow kind of coming through here, and then it's going to kind of pass to light up here. Very, very simple stuff. Helps us get a grip on where we're looking at in terms of characters and what they're doing. Alright, that's good. Let's add a little bit more texture in there. Good. Good. In fact, I want more. More. I don't know if I like that one. Maybe I do. I just want it all to be dark. Some slight light up here. There we go. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. All right, and let's move on to these last ones here. Tank looking down on Emma. And let's just do a simple thing like this. You see how simple you can get away with? Like, simple of a background you can get away with after you've already established everything? You can practically draw nothing. It's just like one line goes through it, and it's like, oh, that's where the ceiling is. Well, that's where that is, you know? It's really, really simple, and I like it. Saves time. Saves time, saves lives. Cool. Now check this out. Now that we've got all this done, now we can start laying in the gradient maps which I just left. New adjustment layer, gradient map, and let's click OK. And let's go over here and let's select our interior colors. Interior colors, love them. That was easy. And let's go ahead and clip that right back like that. Let's go ahead and, whoa, what the heck is that? Oh, no, it's fine. All right, let's do the same thing here. Actually, let's just duplicate this. Move it right back here. Clipping mask that. And let's duplicate it once more. Bring it back here and clip that. Brilliant! We have our interior. Simple, right? Super simple. That's the power of gradient maps. Saves you time. I'm going to make this a little bit more intense. Oh, wait, no. No, not that one. This one. This one needs to be a little more intense. So let's do that. Slightly different palette. You notice like this one is more like orangey. Add a little bit more intensity to this to kind of heighten and kind of push it away from the rest of the scene. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And let's go ahead and push this all the way to white. Do I like that? Yeah, that's pretty good. Let's darken that. Lovely. Lovely. And then what's really cool is you can go back in here and you can adjust the lighting by just kind of like pulling this. You notice that? So it'll make the background lighter just by, because it's determining like, okay, for this certain shade of gray, I will put this color in its place. You know, so by naturally pulling it more to the side, it's going to allow more light to come in. So let's see, I'm kind of going for something along the lines of that. No, it looks good. So it's still kind of dark like the interior, and it looks good. And it looks very, very good. You can just play around with different ideas that you have here. Different color ideas that you want to try out. Maybe you want it a little bit more orange, maybe a little more saturated. I don't know. Don't get too caught up in this, though, because you're going to eventually be doing some overpainting, and you can fix things like that then. So yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Okay, so that's pretty good. Still not liking this. What is wrong with this? What is wrong with this picture? It needs to transition a little bit more through that. Ooh! Oh, I like that. I like that. Thank you! Alright. Tank, eat a Snickers, says Ozzy Burke. I like it. Alright. So we got a basic layout for our backgrounds. And I love this. I love how easy it is to do backgrounds now. You just throw in a gradient map, and now we can begin dropping in the colors on our masks and laying in the gradients, and we'll start to get a quick feel of what the final product is going to look like. And we have plenty of time to do so. How about that? Now let's make sure we save like little good boys and girls, right? Because not saving is cause for disaster. You will lose your work. It will go away. Your computer will take a dump, and you will never see your work again. Your babies will go bye-bye. Alright, so let's simply label that BG, and let us begin. Let us begin the long, arduous task of coloring. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do here is I'm just going to color all of the guys' coats this dark blue. Perfect. And we are going to get out our soft brushes because we are going to be laying down gradients. Fun, gradients. Alrighty. So it looks like, and all I'm doing is basically for consistency's sake and for ease's sake, all I'm doing is simply referring to my old drawings of like, okay, so this is how these characters' colors were being affected in this light. And it allows me to basically just go back through here, eye drop, and lay it in. Eye drop, lay it in. So that way you have a nice, consistent comic all the way through. Right? You might think of it as cheating, but it's actually very, very good. Very, very good for you to have consistent. Could you imagine how annoying it would be to like just look at your previous page and be like, okay, I want it to look like that. I want it to look like that. And then you just kind of like go back and forth and try to just match everything. It would get pretty old pretty dang fast. Trust me. So we are going to go ahead and pick our lighter color here. We're going to start throwing these in. See? We're going to start quickly rendering and lighting our characters. Yay! This is when all the kids say, yay! And we're all happy, right? Because we're saving time. Saving time, saving lives. Alright, make sure to really lay it down. Really lay it down. Lay the smack down. There we go. Lovely. Lovely. How lovely. Okay, number one's done. Attention! And make sure you lock all of these layers too. Lock them all. Lock and load. Otherwise, you're going to run into some problems. Okay, so let's just start with that. And let's move on to Biker Coats number 2. Biker Coats 2, I'm just going to fill with this layer here. Maybe I'll make it a little bit more towards that and desaturate it just a tad bit. So we get something like that. Biker Coats. Let's go ahead and do the same thing. Let's drop your hue that way, and we'll lighten you just a bit as well. In fact, these biker coats, I kind of want them to start blending in with the background, so I'm going to start doing some of these, start laying in some light, you know, on their heads. Same with these guys right here. I want them to kind of blend, you know, like, you notice how I'm doing that? I'm adding some extra light to this guy's coat to pop out Tank's silhouette. Popping out his silhouette. Helping his elbows stand out, and the rest of his body, and his general, whatever, figure. His general, you know. His general presence. Alrighty. Strategic lighting. The tie. Let's do the tie. I think I actually made the tie the right color. So we don't have to do much here except for lay in our stripes. It's the only thing that we need to do here. Good. Alright, let's lay in the little stripes that go through it. Stripes going through this tie. Lovely! Next, blood. Got to have some good blood up in here. Okay. Let's go and fill that. Ooh, that's looking nasty. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Just looking at your funny comments over here. If you are limiting yourself by not cheating, you are doing yourself a disservice 9 times out of 10. Yes. Cheating is always good, especially when you steal from yourself. Steal from others, too. Steal from others. Good artists steal ideas from the greats. Get inspired by the work of others. Make sure then you cover up your tracks to make sure nobody knows that you stole. Says the great designers of, well, some people I've talked to. Good stuff. Alright, let's go back in here. Laying in a little bit of this action. A little bit of shiny bits. Yeah, this is where we get kind of the more liquid look from the blood. Put a little bit more detail in there. That looks oh so nice. Very nice. Nice. And let's put on some highlights as well, because I always like highlights. Highlights are awesome. Oh! Whoops. Highlights. Let's go ahead and put one there, there. Just pulling these blood spatters right out. That looks nice and juicy now. Nice and juicy. Ooh, yeah, I like it. Now remember when I said I make the blood a different, or the blood lines a different color? Or on a different layer? This is why. Watch what I do, right here. I'm going to color the blood lines a slightly lighter color, and just going to make them pop out and look even more organic and nasty. See what I just did there? Let's zoom in on that action. From that to that. Very good. In fact, I'm going to probably push it a little bit more purpley. A little bit more purpley. Maybe a slight bit darker. Yeah. That really helps to kind of... I almost think about it this way. If it's like an element, you know, this could be like watery type of an element or like a fire type of element. I really like to give it its own lines so that way I can go back in and color them. And it really helps it to like kind of stand off the page. It adds just that one more little bit of, I don't know, you just look at everything else, everything has black lines except for that blood, and you're like, ooh, wow. Something that just like draws your eye to it. Even something as simple and as, it's just a slight difference in the color of the lines, but the human eye picks it up. And that makes it awesome. All right. And it's just a stylistic choice, so yeah. Next up, what do we got? Highlights are done. Let's do the suit. Suit, you're up. All right. And let's go ahead and get your lighter color. And let's throw in some colors on the suit. Aha! Oh. That does it. That does it well. Bam! Just smacking that zombie head. Smashing the bottom of that zombie head. The remnants. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. And I say I'm trying to hit a younger audience with this. I don't know. I think that's just... It's just a little gross. It's a little gross. I don't know if they could take that. Yes, yes. All right. Fisticuffs. Fisticuffs. Let's color those really quickly. Just a couple simple shades. But that's pretty easy. Cool. Fisticuffs are done. Next up, we're moving into Emma. Emma-san! All right, we got Emma's bandage. Let's go ahead and lock all of these layers and save. Save dat. Looking good. Looking good. Where's the zombie hand? Oh, there we go. Let's take care of that zombie hand really quick as well. Zombie hand, you will be colored. Become colored. Oh, why is it? Okay. Next. Let's go ahead and darken this area. Is that really his skin color? His skin color needs to be brighter than that. Not so sure I'm digging that. There we go. And that needs needs to be a little bit more green. Thank you! That's our zombie color we know and love. Cool. In fact, I'm going to push it just even a bit more, just because of the intensity of the scene. Yeah! Now you can see clearly what's going on. I like that. Putting some little cast shadows on there. Just because I feel like it. Yeah! Yeah! I like that. I like it. Alright, Emma-san, you're up. Emma Bandage. Alright, what color are we going to make Bandage? Emma Bandage. I'm actually going to make it the same color as the cuff. Same colors going on there. It's white. So that should be pretty easy to render out. There you go. Might be a little bit too white. Ay, Chihuahua. Okay, that's good. That's good. Emma Skin. Let's go ahead and pull that from this page right here. I'm going to load this up because this has a good reference. Originally, when I released this page, I wanted to show the difference, like the slight difference between Emma's skin and Nico's skin, because Nico is supposed to have like slightly tanner skin. And originally, like, I'm so used to rendering Emma in like the black and white world, right, where everything's kind of more desaturated. When I brought her into Nico's world, her skin like naturally darkened and kind of saturated, and they had kind of similar skin tones in this final frame. And I actually went back and changed it. But I don't know if you guys noticed that. But a little director's commentary for you there. But yeah, this current skin tone is what I'm really liking from Emma, so I'm going to continue with that because it suits me. It suits me and it tickles my fancy. All right, so there we go. And I always like when I first like lay on the skin color because it looks kind of weird. It's like, whoa, it's weird. But then once you color everything, it quickly falls into place. Isn't that interesting? Color relativity, my friends, color relativity. That's where the magic will be found. All right. Emma-san dress. There you go. And Emma-san boots. Cool. And Emma-san eyes. Whoops. That's what happens when you don't lock the layer, ladies and gentlemen. Cool. So already, see, it's already looking more like her actual colors. Her bandage is looking a little bit bright, though. Might go back and change that later. But anyway, let's see how much time we got. Okay, guys, I'm going to go for about 2 more minutes. And in fact, actually, I'm going to start right now. I'm opening the floodgates. Please line up your catapults and cast your questions over the castle walls, or I will catch them, send them back to you on a floaty pineapple pond. Yes. Please ask your questions. And yeah, I'm just going to continue with this. And then we will end day 44 of the Emma stream. And we'll go about doing this. But yeah, guys, I'm really, really looking forward to this release. It's going to be awesome. And I'm looking, like I've planned to have it done. I was hoping by this weekend, but I mean, I'm really going to have to go freaking balls to the wall on this because I really want it out. So I think the safest bet would probably be to say early next week. Early next week, part 2 of issue 2 will be released for all the world to see, and we'll have a party. And the cool thing about this is I am currently in the process of enlisting the help from my brother, Fat Phoebes, or Deebs, and he may be helping me to get the rest of these issues out from this point on even faster. So I'm super excited about his possible help with that. Alright, so I'm going to hurry up and color Tank because I'm not liking the way that he's looking. He's looking kind of scary. Let's go ahead and take care of his stuff. That guy's skin gets colored. Tank's skin will also get colored. There you go. Thank you. Tank's boot. Where are we at here? Tank's boot, I will color dark brown. Kind of like that. That looks pretty good. Might want to make it a little bit brighter, actually. Maybe more like this. Just thinking about in terms of readability. Do I want it to be darker or lighter? I think it looks better when it's lighter. I'll probably just fudge some lighting effects on that, and I'll make it so that it's a brighter color on top of that blood, because I really want that to stand out. All right, Tank's skull is going to be the same color as Nico's skull. Well, that's good. Biker bandanas. Let's go ahead and do that. Lay that down. Tank's bandana will be that color. Lovely! I love it when a comic comes together. Alright, and goggles. Perfect! Actually, I'm going to do one of these. I'm going to grab this color back here because I want them to be brighter. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. And Tank's hair. I haven't drawn it exactly in this light before, so let's just kind of go for like a dark brown. See how that looks. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I like that. Pretty good. All right, ladies and gents, so you can quickly see how this page of the comic is coming together quite nicely. And yeah, I'm just going to continue laying in the gradients. And yeah, good times. Good times are happening. Alrighty. Brian Hogan is talking about, oh, shall we tease what is possibly coming? Ah, yes. Some people and I, meaning Brian Hogan and I, have been developing a Emma forum. We actually want to launch a forum for all of you guys to go on and deliberate your concepts and theories, submit fan art, and all that stuff. I don't know anything about forums, so I'm happy that I've actually met somebody that does know about it, and I'm just letting you guys know that that is in the works and will be coming up very soon. Very soon. Alrighty. Cole Eckert is asking, can questions be launched on a catapult? Of course, that's the way we've been doing it for the last few months. That's the way to do it. Do we launch the catapults with the questions? No, you don't want to do that. You want to hang on to your catapults. Alright. Let's see. Alexandre Lacour is asking, I painted a forest on green, and I need it to be more blue-green. What should I use to change it? Well, this depends on how many layers you have, and if you have, say, everything that's kind of green on it, you're able to kind of hue shift it. One thing I would suggest is go to the color that has most of the green on it, and then hit Control U, and then you kind of use that to kind of shift the hues around. If that's not a possibility, then I would, like the worst case scenario, I would flatten the image, and then I would go into color adjustment, right? And basically you go image, adjustments, and then you go to color balance, right? And from here, basically what you're able to do is you can adjust the highlights, what color those are, if you want them to be more yellow. You push more yellow. Or in this case, probably your midtones. You're going to want them to go more to blue. So you can mess around with these things. And again, to get to that, you go to Image, Adjustments, and then Color Balance. And that'll allow you to do it. But your image has to be at a flat state. Well, another thing that you can do is you can just flatten your image into one layer, and you can do some experiments with the color. Just say, hey, okay, I want it to get to this point, right? And then you can go in there and kind of manually do it, things like that. But that's probably the best thing I would do color balance. Alrighty. Let us see. Ian Kabesh is asking a great question. He's saying, how do you come up with a layout of the pages? As in, what parts are biggest or shaped in a way? That's a great question, Ian. In fact, I will pull that up on an older one because I don't want to pull up the current one because that may give away some things that I'm not ready to show yet. So I'm going to pull this up. So I'll show you basically how I laid out issue 2 part 1. So basically all I do is I go through things like this. I'll lay out a bunch of different pages. Like, look at this template. All of these things represent possible pages. And I'll go through and I'll start doing what I call chicken scratches. This is where, like, my general layout is just kind of like the brick style, where it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. You notice that's kind of my general style. But then as I start kind of throwing things in, like action shots or focus shots, like I had an idea that I wanted to put the wheel kind of skidding to a halt before a tank is kind of looking up at the house. I had an idea I was going to place it there. But see how the general layout is started as like a 1, 2, 3, right? Sometimes I'll divide panels in half, be like 1, 2, 3, 4, and stuff like that. And then I'll just kind of go through and be like, okay, well, I like this, but I'm going to try a different thing. How about we have that action panel here? We have that there. And then we do 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is basically how I start laying stuff out. You can see I go through here. Sometimes I'll nix panels, be like, oh, I don't actually need this one. Let's nix that, move it all the way down. And this will help contribute to the final layout, right? So all of the ideas and things that I have are always done in this stage. And you can take a look at how simple the sketches are. But the funny thing is that we were talking about the force of the artist yesterday, is that a lot of, I mean, you just look at this. Look at this panel, and then look at the final one. You'll notice how similar they actually are. The similarities are actually uncanny. And that's because I believe that when you're using the force of the artist, you actually capture the emotion that you're going for within the first few seconds of a drawing. A tiny little chicken scratch can actually give you a lot in terms of what type of emotion you're looking for. Back here, you can just kind of compare them side by side. But see how they're almost exactly the same? It's just one is just cleaned up. Sometimes I would be tempted to be like, oh, okay, maybe I need to move the arms a little bit more, maybe I need to do this. And sometimes if it's like anatomically incorrect, then yeah, I'll change it. But most of the time, with those first little chicken scratches, everything just comes together. Everything just comes together in terms of emotion. Then it's just refining it from there. So yeah, that's it. And then once this part is done, I'll be able to show you guys the layout and everything that I used in part 2. And I can talk a little bit more about that. But see, it's basically the same thing. It's like, okay, action shot, I really like to put it as like a diagonal kind of cut through panel, right? Anything that has an action to it, I like to put it off center, off kilter somehow. And then you have the focus scene, the focus panel, which is like, okay, look at Emma. But we don't need a full panel for that. It's just a quick little, oh, she's looking at him. And then bam, you have the power of the guy standing above her. And then it's like, you know, really, really big to show that power. And then you have a couple, like a quick interaction of Tank saying something. So those can be like two, you know, you almost like, I don't know, it's kind of comical to put like two panels that are almost the same together. I think it just kind of shows a passing of time, and it just, I don't know, it just kind of looks nice every once in a while to have panels that are just kind of the same looking. All right. Next up, we got Coleman Reyna. He's asking, how did you find your writers for the comic? I would love to work on a comic, but I lack writers. Coleman, this is actually a great question. And I'll answer it with this. I think the best thing to do is have a general idea for the story that you want to start on, right? And then naturally, you know, whether it's your friends, your family, those people will start to just kind of show themselves. They'll come to you. You will attract the people that will create the story with you. For me, the way that I started was I had this general idea of, hey, wouldn't it be funny if there was this little girl and she was surviving the zombie apocalypse? And that was basically it. There was no Nico, there was no biker gang, there was no, you know, like future thing, no cool things that are now part of the story in that, right? But those things came out, those ideas came out when I was just talking about it with my friends. So that's a really good way to get inspiration. But as far as finding an actual writer, a guy that's actually going to sit down and write out the story and come up with all these different story arcs, develop the characters, That is just something, it's not easy to find. Sometimes you'll have friends that'll step up to try to do it for a little while, but then they'll get tired of it. And you just got to let them kind of go do their own thing, let them go live their life, right? They weren't the one for the job. They weren't ready, right? You got to find people that are ready to basically, and that's the other thing. You're starting to write a comic, you're starting a business, you don't have money to pay anybody. So you got to find somebody who's as passionate about it as you, somebody who gets it, somebody who understands that, hey, you don't have to pay me anything right now. I just want to do this because I'm passionate about this. And I can make time after work. I can just make time because I want to see this through, right? And those people will naturally show themselves. But until then, you got to make it on your own. You got to develop the story as far as you can. And I'd say just like, don't even look for writers. Just look for ideas first. You can brainstorm. One of the techniques that I talk about is free drawing and free writing. Basically, I brainstormed a lot of things like this. I just take my sketchbook and start writing down crazy things that could happen throughout here. And they don't even have to make sense. It's like, hey, what if Emma found this donkey and then she rides it around like a mount? What if, and you know, just like silly things like that. What if she mounted machine guns on this donkey and then she like shot this giant, you know, crowd of zombies to get through to the mall because she wanted to buy a new pair of shoes? You know, it's like funny ideas like that. You write all that stuff down, and then every now and then you'll come across a really, really cool idea that you can use in the comic. And encourage your friends to join you. Like I said, naturally, the people that will do the work for you will show themselves. And they won't care about not getting paid at the beginning. They'll expect to be, and you should expect to pay these people too. I mean, if you're creating a business, that should be a goal. But make sure you have that plan. Have that plan of like, okay, well, at this point in time, you know, and this is kind of like advanced stuff. Actually, I don't even want you to concern yourself with that yet. If you're going to start something, just focus on the passion, focus on liking it, and focus on having fun. Then you can get into the whole business side of it, and that will naturally progress. But I don't want to overload your brain with all that crap right now. We can talk about that on Thoughtful Thursday or something. All right. Journals help. Yes, Less Than Pie is saying journals help. Journals are awesome. Go to your local Barnes & Noble, anywhere, your Michael's art store, get yourself one of these little things. Write down your ideas, write down your life. You'll be amazed at the cool ideas that you will stumble upon by doing stuff like that. All right, peoples. With that, we are going to end day 44 of the Emma KNKL stream. Said that backwards, but that's okay because we are just that awesome. And what I say goes on the show. So I wanted to say thank you guys once again for joining me live on Ustream. For those of you on YouTube, thumbs up if you like it, thumbs down if you don't. My name is Keenan Lafferty. I'll see you guys tomorrow for Thoughtful Thursday. Thanks again for joining me. Until then, you guys take care.